J. You are now in tune to the number.
Chris West. Huh? All right. All right.
I hear you calling me, Lord. Calling me by my name. I won't be like Job and run from your presence. I'll hear you, Lord, when you call my name. I'll be like Isaiah and say, here I am. Shine in me, Lord. Show yourself strong in me. I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, leave it with me, brother. I'm gonna take it home and see if we can hook you up.
All right. Yes, indeed, the sounds of the Bateman family. Song entitled When You Call Me. Call a friend, tell a friend to keep it locked right where you got it on your superstation KIEE 88.3 KOCZ 94.9 in Appaloosa's with Cowboy Preacher Sound, DJ Hart, DJ Buddy Love, DJ Papa, DJ Smiley. And y'all, my old horse trigger along with New Horse Spirit, DJ Nate, DJ Elijah, along with Baby TJ. And Baby Lim, bringing you the very best of inspirational gospel music. Straight from the heart of God to yours. God bless you. We love you, y'all. We're going to soon get ready to make room for the open line. Well, you got to have an open mind. But here is the sound of Chris Wesley. Y'all, I got Brother Jane here saying, I ain't the one. Lil Jeff Boutte, you got another man in here hollering, I ain't the one. Don't try. And then Toby came up here saying, try Jesus. Don't try me. Because I fight. Throw hands. Oh, yes, indeed. And then you heard Otis say, a change gonna come. Change and came. People not taking them licks no more, not like that. Well, here we go. Better be dead in my grave before I become a slave. All of them people that got beat, Brother J, I almost kind of flashback, man. With that police brutality stuff, I almost kind of flashback when I seen it. But it came out to be good at the end as an end result. Yeah, so I can sit back. Tell all the police, I got a bunch of friends, Brother J, that's police officers, so I don't throw no shade or no punches at them. But them bad ones, I just talk about them. They're on my hit list on talking about them. Yes, sir. Tell the truth, shame the devil. Let's let it eat. Here we go, but praise break. Chris Wesley until Brother G get ready.
Give you a couple seconds. Look at David and say, neighbor, this was on
All right.
We want to remind you that the Open Line Radio Show is powered by Finders Keepers, 1006 Surrey Street, Lafayette.
The Open Line Radio Show is supported in part by Finders Keepers Home Improvement Store, the place with your residential hardware needs, small engines, outdoor power equipment, bathroom accessories, electronics, lighting, plumbing, and everything in between. Located in the Southern Development Office Building at 1006 Surrey Street, Lafayette. Telephone 337-780-8149. That's Finders Keepers Home Improvement.
Are now tuned into my man, Brother Jay, and our conscious sister, bringing the people the knowledge on the Open Line Radio Show on 88.3 FM, your superstation for
Hello,
South
community.
Louisiana.
This is your
88.3
The views
FM.
and opinions expressed in this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of staff or management and entities they represent. Thanks for listening.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Open Line.
Welcome to the Open Line on KIEE 88.3, your superstation. The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers and are not necessarily those of KIEE 88.3 staff or management. Thanks for listening.
You are now listening to South Louisiana's #1 radio talk show, the Open Line Radio Show on your superstation, KIEE 88.3. Your community source.
Hot air, so hot and so hot air.
It's summer and it's hot at KIEE 88.3 FM, your superstation for South Louisiana. We have the hottest talk and informational shows on the air, heating it up for the community. Tune in every Wednesday for the Open Line Radio Show with Brother Jay and Sister Khadijah. Tune in on Fridays for Business to Business with Mr. June Andrus. On Saturday morning, educate and get informed on the latest technology and entertainment news with Brother Jay on the People's Tech and Entertainment Show. Yes, it's hot and it's summer, so stay cool with your favorite talk and informational shows here on KIEE 88.3 FM, your superstation for South Louisiana. Listen online. Go to KIEEFM.com. That's KIEEFM.com.
And my gray skies turn blue. Heavens and
Yes. Morning. Hotefa Barigani. Assalamu alaikum. I'm your host this morning, Sister Khadijah, also along with Brother Jay. And the opening song really was a beautiful song, and that's by the great late Wendell B. Wendell B., he was just a complete balladeer. And the songs that he sung, the songs that he wrote about, it was like dealing with love, how beautiful it is, and things like that. So I want you to, whenever you get a chance to listen to Wendell B., please listen to him. Well, we're going to go ahead and explain automatically that this radio program, KIEE 88.3 FM, 9205 Z FM, this is a radio show that's for the community. And sometimes there's rules and regulations that you have to abide by. And if you can't abide by those rules or regulations, then I think the best thing for you to do is not call in at all. So instead of us banning all of the callers for not calling in the open line, I don't actually believe that the good should suffer for the bad. Now, I'm not totally saying completely bad, but Mr. Kevin, you make some good points, and then there are times when you just take away from what you're trying to say to the community and to us. You always wanna, like, it's nothing wrong with you giving your viewpoint, but you don't have control over this radio station. And I suggest that if you really want to do something constructive for our community, your community, why not just get you your own radio station? Why not take care of your own business? Whenever you want to criticize someone, you need to come with facts. I come with facts when I state, yes, former Mayor Verrett out in Jeanerette, he was urinating in a flower pot out at the casino. That's not nothing that somebody told me that I heard of. This is factual. When we talk about other people, we have our information right before us. We know what we're talking about. We're not going under any type of presumption. I heard this, I heard that. So now this is going to be up to you. I know you call from different numbers. I know that you also have different people, or you disguise your voice in a way where we can't really recognize your voice. So I'm just letting the listening audience know today only, you will be banned from the show. Now, if you persist in getting outside of your character and everything, well, that might be a 2-week ban. So it's up to you. You know, we're going to start this off, and we're going to start this off the right way. Brother Jay, there's a lot of things that's going on.
Yeah, let me give a quick couple of shout-outs to some people doing some great things in the community. Again, we appreciate the staff and management of Southern Development, Mr. John Freeman and Mr. Charles, better known as Mr. Charlie. Listen, I want to give a big shout out to the brothers down there at Brooklyn Fades. It's not advertised for anybody, but this young man, Mr. Battle, Joe Battle Jr., he does some great things with the kids every year. He organized groups to give the free haircuts for the community. And we got to give young brothers like that who are entrepreneurs. I know his family. I know the Delahousie family from across the bayou. We call it across the bayou, Little Brooklyn. He always doing some great things, and I see him popping up on social media doing those things. Now, a brother his age could be doing some other things negative in the community, but he's an example of a young brother who got this entrepreneur ideas and applying them in his own community. So shout out to Mr. Joe Battle at Brooklyn Fades, always doing some great things in the community, always organizing all of these other barbers to give these free cuts for haircuts. So we got to salute, brother. When you see him in the community, tell him Brother Jay, a cousin of his father, said he's doing a great job. And I want to give a big shout out to my daughter. She got these beautiful young ladies all up on social media getting ready for school.
Yeah.
All these children going back to school. People, please be careful. Our young people are out there, and stop all that wilding out and take your time on the highway. Kids are back in school. We definitely appreciate that. Sister Khadijah, before we go into my condolences, I want to say some great news that CLECO has some programs to help people with these high bills. I'm going to be sharing that more information on our Saturday show, The People's Tech. Also, the federal government will soon be announcing some assistance to the Internet Connectivity Program called, I forgot what, whatever the acronym is, but the Affordable Internet Connectivity Program, where they could be not just the $30 off. If you meet a certain criteria, $75 off. It's a good thing to make sure everybody's connected to the internet. I think Dr. William has an event with the young people. He sent me the flyer last night.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yes,
I'm going to try to pull it up.
That's
and
this
you could
Friday.
Announce, right. And there's another event going on somewhere. I'm going to try to pull up the flyers and read them through the crux of the show.
Yes, Dr. Williams' event is this coming Friday from 7 p.m. until probably about 10. It's a Black Voters Matter banquet, and they're having people from all over coming to that particular banquet.
Yeah, and shout out to my mother, Miss Joyce Ballo.
Hey, Mom.
And Agnes Dalcard, they're listening. They say, well, we don't shout them out. Shout out to the people out there in Four Corners, General Red, that called me up and listened to the show and critiqued me on the show. Oh, man, we got some fans. And we got people who say, you guys need to do this and do that. But guess what? At the end of the day, we control the mic, and we try to offer a balance to the community. I know we always critical of some issues and systems here in South Louisiana, but we got to stay true to what everybody is interested in. We can't just make the flavor for one person. We have to have a balance somewhat, but we still gonna be critical of some things, such as you, Sister Khadijah. You were over there in District Court 19 JDC, Baton Rouge District Court, supporting our good brother, a former Louisiana State Trooper, Carl Cavalier. The story went national, how he helped out and be a whistleblower on the Ronald Green case, and how the system in the Louisiana State Police, all the way up to the governor's officer, has treated him, and even trying to force him to accept a measly $200,000 after they fired him because he whistleblowed on how state troopers participated in a murder. People. It's on tape. It's been talked about on CNN everywhere.
Oh, yes.
And you guys was out there supporting you and the other sister Janet supporting
Miss Dorothy.
And Miss Dorothy supporting the issue with Trooper Carl Cavalier. I want to say this, and I'm gonna close with this for this part. All these groups I mentioned in my flyer I put up on RealTalkMedia.net. All these groups should be supporting Mr. Cavalier. Black law enforcement groups, y'all have a lot of groups y'all get together. This is what we say when you want to be a police officer. If you're a black man and you know something is wrong, you're supposed to speak up. Well, Noble, y'all need to be stepping up and supporting Mr. Carl Cavalier. The black fraternities and sororities, y'all need to be stepping up and support Mr. Carl Cavalier. The Urban League, y'all need to support him. Don't just come to the Ronald Green rally and give a speech. Support Carl Cavalier. The NAACP on the national level, y'all need to be supporting Carl Cavalier. Y'all hear my voice? Go and Google a story and you go shake your head and say it's a shame what they did to this young man because he spoke up about a murder of a young black man on the side of the road in North Louisiana.
Yes, and Mr. Robert Burns with Sound Off has done some superb articles dealing with what happened with Mr. Ronald Green and everything, and it just behooves you that Mr. Carl Cavalier, who is pro se, he's representing himself. He had problems with his previous attorney, which he owes this amount of money. I think over $100,000 that he still owes her, and so he's in the courtroom and he's representing himself. So I just don't understand how is it that in the state of Louisiana, where we are some of the most strongest and some of the most good fearing people, why there's not a lawyer that's in criminal law that could come and assist him with that. I just don't understand how something that's right in the front of your face is been exposed. Now, trust me, this case has been exposed. Another case has been exposed. But what does that mean? That means that they have done this before. They're so comfortable with getting away with things. They have done this before. And it's not just Louisiana State Trooper. We have problems with our law enforcement all over, from Lafayette, St. Martinville, New Iberia, particularly New Iberia. There's things that's been going on that have been swept under the table, like if it was nothing, Brother G.
Also, you had the case of Mr. Eric Bowman, the other incident in North Louisiana with the Louisiana State Police, where the trooper beat him on camera in the head with a flashlight or nightstick, something like that. But it was an open and shut case, but an impaneled federal grand jury failed to indict him or failed to convict him, something like that. But that is so sad that you could have it on camera. And beating a man in the head. And this brother's a stronger, older brother, right?
Yes.
And he was crying on camera. To see a black man cry about a beating.
Yes. About a beating, a brutal beating.
By hands of law enforcement.
Yes, to the head.
So we got to ask the question, should we as black males and other black folks and people of color worry about being pulled over by the Louisiana State Police every time we get pulled, Should we worry? And other black officers who serve with these people, shouldn't you be concerned about it could be your child, it could be your cousin, it could be your friend or your kinfolk? Justice has to be served. And the Justice Department failure to, is a reason why we don't have the town hall meeting in Lafayette. I think they're really understanding that people just don't want any window dressing or what you call a town, what do you call that, apology tour with the Justice Department. They want some real factual change within the Louisiana State Police. And all the candidates running for office on the state level, when you're going to Baton Rouge, that should be one of your priorities. trying to help reform the Louisiana State Police, and even not buying into the fact that there's a conservative majority. Don't go to Baton Rouge if you're scared to be dealing with these Republican conservative or even a conservative Democrat, because the governor is a conservative Democrat, and he's one of the biggest supporters of law enforcement. The whole issue is two things don't have one to do with the other. Louisiana is a violent state. True, we have a lot of crime, right?
You're right.
But the fact that the government can be the sole executioner of the without having a trial, that's very troubling. So you should fix the Louisiana State Police, fix the criminal justice system, and then you could address the issues in the community with senseless gun violence.
And yes, I honestly believe that that's all it was some form of window dressing. When we attended those meetings,
one in New Orleans and one in Baton Rouge.
Yes, when we attended those meetings, none of them was taking any notes, any recordings.
Right. We have a caller.
Caller, you have a question or comment? Hello. Caller, you're on. Okay.
I think they're calling back.
Yes, and that's what it was. It was your basic window dressing.
Yes, it was.
Trying to give us some candy. Caller, you have a question or a comment?
A question for y'all about that happened with Mr. State Trooper that they refused to grant him what he was asking for. What is the politics of this system where you don't have the NAACP, you don't have the Black Caucus fighting for injustice that's in politics? All this is politics. And to me, that should be them fighting for the black people, not regular people going and fight for what we paying our representatives to do. And none of these guys are being held accountable. As you noted, all of them want to throw in their name in the hat to run as a leader. Leader is supposed to help the people, not themselves and their family. And until we recognize what's going on with us and start calling out these black politicians, our black caucuses, and our NAACP, who used to be for the people, we got to start and tell them, no matter who is running it, in this classism that's going on in black people and the radio station and all that.
Caller, you have a question or a comment? You're on.
Yeah, I have a comment. This is Mo Barnes, former journalist with Rolling Out Magazine.
Wow, man, welcome.
But I want to say
I've been following you for a long time, brother. I've been following you guys for a long time.
Talking about when he mentioned the NAACP and other organizations, we have to remember, do you donate to these organizations? These organizations have leadership and policy that you can request, but it's important that we just don't assume things, that this is something that is automatic. And I think with our people waking up, especially the Montgomery, Alabama thing, with the hashtag lift every chair and swing, last night on Joy Reid, that we saw that people were righteous indignation about what was happening, that we saw a ship named Harriet that was coming in from a dock that was known for slaves coming in, and whether all of the slaves from West Africa that were coming into Congo Square, and everything else on the coast, from Georgia to Louisiana, you have to be involved and not just think about what should happen. Are you voting? Did you hear what Ramaswamy, the Indian guy who is running for president, said that Juneteenth is a made-up holiday? But yet 4 days prior to that, he said it was a proud holiday that people should celebrate. And we see this game, this twisting and everything else. And I encourage people, wherever you're from, if you're in a co-op, utility, electric company, this is how we power and progression within the grassroots system, and getting our people together and voting and rejecting those who say it doesn't matter, that you shouldn't vote. And that is my comment.
Thank you so much, Mr. Barnes. We follow you all the time, and we appreciate the work you guys doing up there in Atlanta, along with Brother Rashad Ritchie. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
And what do you say to like some of the the violence that's going on around all of our communities.
Every year in the summer, I had a article that was, it's riot season. It's time to prepare for riot season. And I started it in 2015. And it was based on a political theory and model of things. And all I did was change the names, the dates, and the time frame. And every year we see within our community that when the summer comes around, when it's hot, that we get into riot season. And it's been that way since the current stated that there are two Americas, one black, one white, and that the ongoing, machinations, political thought and everything would develop into the situation that we're in right now. We can always, there has never been a summer that a black man, black woman, black child has been slain in this country, and we never know their story. There has never been a situation that a transgender, LGBTQ, and sometimes Y, whatever you want to say, that is within our family and was within our loved ones. One thing that actor Keanu Reeves, he was asked, what happens when someone dies? And he said, I can't answer that. All I know is that those who love them will miss them. And the ones that we are missing are our ancestors who are calling out. We can see it throughout religions. If you want to go to Christianity, the blood of the martyrs crying beneath the table, how long, how long? This is something that is not an overnight fix. One thing I do feel in regards to reparations is that there are still some of these folk who are still alive, who witnessed these things, and that's the first step for reparations. Getting the actual legal information, the ones that can prove that life, property, or what have you was stolen from them. Other than that, it is just the promise on a piece of paper. But we see what they did in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yes.
We see what they did when they destroyed Black Wall Street.
Yes.
We see what happened when we let infiltrators into Black Lives Matter, and they stole millions of dollars and disgraced the name that was being yelled out from our people.
Yes,
we see how we can be dissuaded, but we must realize what is going on and be active. If you're not active in any way, $5 to your church, if you go to church. The hood tax, going into a gas station, hey, brother, can you spare 50 cents? Because it's tough for everybody right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
that's what I have to say.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and then not only that, sir, but it's not like if reparation should be a foreign word. I have a reparation was given to in 1990 to the Australian in the amount of $25 million. That was the Australian Jewish Holocaust survivor. 1990 to the concentration camps during World War II, and to the Indians, the Indigenous Americans, $1.2 billion apology paid. 1988, Canada gave 250,000 square land was given to the Indigenous Americans and the Eskimos. So,
okay, let me stop you right there, and let me add to you current information. Okay?
Yes.
The United States government and the UN are agreeing that in the Pacific Islands, where they tested the atomic bomb and the H-bomb, and also the Trinity test in New Mexico, they have recently, and you can go to NPR, National Public Radio, and look at yesterday's feed on this, that they are increasing the amount of money given to these survivors. They had one woman who is the fifth generation from when this bomb was dropped that has a history of cancer. So the government, from when they were dropping the bombs and experimenting with radiation. Didn't even know if the atmosphere would ignite over the bomb, killing, millions instead of that specific area. But yes, and I actually wrote an article about 2016 about the amount of money that goes to Jews who survived concentration camps and resettled here. And they get help with public utilities and things like that. It differs from state to state.
That's right.
And it is part of reparations for what the Allies did and everything else. So let me drop a little history on you here. Can I give you some 30-second history?
Yes, please do.
Prescott Bush. George Prescott.
Okay, George.
President George Bush. Prescott Bush owned oil wells in South America. Okay? And it was an American-owned company, Prescott Oil. That's how Barbara Bush and the family got in there and everything else. They married into the Prescott family. During World War II, when the Germans were going and expanding, they were getting oil from South America. Those facilities that were destroyed through Prescott Oil, that were owned by Prescott Oil, they later got reimbursed by the U.S. government because of the damage done during the war. American Telegraph and Telecompany, telecommunications, same situation. Because they were an American company, the company got funding through its various sources from the American government because of war damage. So all of this has been ongoing. The victor decides what's happening. Blood and sinews, or blood and treasure are the sinews of war, Tacitus said during the early Roman Empire. So it doesn't matter how many reparations are given out and how many levels and everything else. It goes back to being grassroots. You see an injustice within your community, within your county, within your state, highlight the injustice. Support good political activists, entrepreneurs, and have a voice in organizations. You say NAACP should be doing this, SCLC should be doing this, but if you haven't given $1 to them, why should they listen to your voice?
That's
do they support your radio show? Do they have sponsors that do it? Local people? Why should they do it? Why do we assume that grace should be upon us if we don't do a damn thing to bring disgrace to us?
Yes, that's a really good point. And to that fact, basically, when you call out some of the organizations, you're calling them out for a reason. Now, trust me, Mr. Cavalier, called Cavalier, he was like the lone person going against Goliath. And I'm calling out attorneys. I don't care really what color the attorney is. If any of them should have enough decency to support this man, because as the whistleblower, he lost everything. As a matter of fact, he doesn't have a job. He has a family, a beautiful family to take care of, and he's like doing things on behalf of trying to survive, when indeed whistleblowers are supposed to be somewhat celebrated, because had it not been for his diligent work behind the scene, no one would have known that our brother, Ronald Green, did not die from a car accident, that he was beaten and brutalized. So sometimes we have the right and the audacity to call out people that's not doing what they should be doing.
So can I ask you this question, or interrupting you?
No, go ahead. I'm ready.
Okay. So before we call out attorneys, and we look at who attorneys are, those who are starting, those who are established, and we understand that litigation costs money. call out any attorney unless we say, hey, we have a defense fund. This is what we start at. How can you help us? You go to that attorney, he says, I can't do it. I don't have the time, whatever, whatever. You go to the next one, I don't have the time, whatever, whatever. And you can say, I've got $20,000, reasonable amount for everybody who wants to donate. And if you can't find an attorney where you have a base of $20 grand to handle the initial litigation, then you call those lawyers out. Then you call the NAACP Legal Defense Fund out. Then you call the SLCLC. Then you can call into your radio show and say, I have donated XYZ amount of money. And so have people in my community, and it's 20 grand right there, right now, and no one is helping us. Then you seek against justice because the squeaky wheel gets the oil every time. But we cannot relegate ourselves to rely on the shady part of the cotton field, which means that we're all on this plantation together now. Come on. And someone under the sun, and some because of their education and standing, are in the shady part of the cotton field, where the sun and the heat and the labor doesn't come on them. But you know what? Shady stuff happens in the shady part of the cotton field. And if you don't realize your role in that, then there's an issue. Call the lawyers to their appointments and say you should do this, this, and that. But also call your listeners to the same situation that why aren't we doing this? Period. Absolutely period. Let us all be accountable for what's going on.
All right. I definitely understand exactly where you're going at. And I somewhat I somewhat agree with that philosophy. I'm just trying to understand. I mean, the way things are today and the way things were yesteryears is totally two different things. People, I don't know. You have to try to be community oriented. You have to try to do things on the best for the best of your community, and this lone soldier right here, Mr. Cavalier, he don't just represent himself, he's representing us as a whole. So it should be us as a whole that's going to go ahead and say, well, since we don't have any attorneys, that's going to go ahead and help him out with his case pro bono, then let us try to have a legal defense fund where we could say, well, any attorney that would want to get somewhat of payment, why don't y'all give us a call to help work on Mr. Carl Cavalier defense? That's what you're saying.
And Mr. Barnes, can you give us a little information on your online newspaper or your magazine? Because we want this the first time our Southwest Louisiana listening audience is hearing your voice, and I read it all the time. I follow you guys out there on that part of the country. I think our audience would like to have a little bit more interest because they're more of a progressive audience here in heart of conservative Louisiana. Can you give us a little bit of information about your online presence?
Well, right now, I do have the AtlantaCollective.com, which is still in development. One of the things that, for me, that has happened is I took a break from national media. And my ex-wife died during the pandemic. Wow, and I had to take total custody of my special needs twins who are autistic. And so I'm getting back into things. So right now we're on one of my public Facebook page, which is Mo Barnes, M.O. Barnes. And I will go ahead and share with you my upcoming information, but you can always reach me. I'm going to give you my email.
Okay.
It is Mo Barnes, it's MOBARNES 2010 @gmail.com. You can always communicate with me through that, and I'm going into a whole series of what it is. There are parents who have children who are special needs that have been put in the criminal justice system under what is called an IEP, Individual Educational Plan, that are supposed to be getting education while they're incarcerated. Here in Georgia, we're dealing with the Fulton County Jail, one of the worst county jails in the entire state. This is the jail where the man was eaten alive by bed bugs, embedded in his skin, who was there for a psychological episode and forgotten. We have women in Florida who are giving birth on their cell floor and losing their children and losing their lives. There is so much that is happening around us, and we have to open our eyes as neighbors and see these kids here in Atlanta. We deal with the water boys during the summer who are selling water at the corner. And it created a whole situation, but we are suffering as a people. And it is time, the whole goal of the Atlantic Collective, and it's expanded to other ventures and media outlets, is to talk about what's going on. Showing my son the people who are evicted from their homes, with their property thrown outside and neighbors stealing from them. At the age of 18 and special needs and autistic, it was a heavy thing for them, but why people can't be kind. Let's talk about the best of us. Let's talk about things that are not just negative, but are things that are positive in our community. Because there's enough negativity to go around.
Yes.
But there is that intelligent child, whether they be through the church, through music, through acting, through being a content creator, that we're forgetting about. And it is so important that we bring up this generation of kids, especially, they're seeing, I mean, come on. We're looking at kids right now, if you just look from the age of 20, we have children who have been born when the United States has been in a state of war. A constant state of war for 30 years?
Yes.
For 30 years. One generation, two generations. People coming in and out. There has to be a spirituality change. Not the poverty pence of religion, whoever you may say they might be. But realizing the pillar of the black church has been a religion. That includes not only Christianity, Hinduism, but it includes Hinduism and Islam. It includes the nation. And there are things we can learn from everybody. And these things. Thank you for giving me this time to talk to you guys.
Yes.
Don't be a last caller. Call all the time when you can, my brother.
One last question. What can you say publicly, factually about the war that's going on with Russia and Ukraine?
Well, you're diving into a whole situation. So let's look at, Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine has always been a breadbasket of Europe. Even during World War II, Hitler made it the Ukrainian campaign was when the Wehrmacht and the National Socialist Party were able to get the supplies they needed to extend the war. There's a whole, you can go on YouTube and look at Ukraine, Hitler, World War II, and find old footage from that. But what we were looking at now, within jumping forward again, that Ukraine, because of its resources, and resources bring us to the next war. But because of the military, financial, and diplomatic aid being given to the Ukraine, as in my undergraduate degree is in political science and international affairs, we're getting into what is called a mutually hurting stalemate, which is bringing the people to the table to talk. We don't talk about what happens after the mutually hurting stalemate, where both sides are hurting, is what is the next decision? Von Clausewitz our modern age, especially with Putin, the threat of nuclear war is something that is heavy and it has to be considered. Right now, the amount of money that the United States government is spending within the war in Ukraine has many people split, not along party lines, but racial lines also. Why are we spending this amount of money when we say that the federal government is having these serious problems? And that is why the upcoming court cases with Trump is putting us in a watershed moment in this country, no matter what your color, what your economic background. Curtis Mayfield did his famous song, "If There's Hell Below, We're All Gonna Go." That line in there. I can't remember the full title. I'm sure you can remember, Brother Curtis, what he was saying. But this is a pivotal moment, and it is the young folk who are going to change this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, we want to thank you so very much. And Curtis is one of my favorite artists also. I know he have this song, Choice of Colors. If you had a choice of color, which one would you choose, my brother? If there was no day or night, which would you prefer to be right? How long have you hate your white teacher who taught you to love? So we want to thank you so very much, Mr. Mo Barnes.
Yeah, she was auditioning for you since you're out there in the Atlanta area. You got a lot of connections.
Okay, I do the blues now. My band is Jack Lake Preacher. I play harmonica.
Jack Lake Preacher.
Saxophone.
All right,
Yes,
all right. Well,
all right. Thank you, Mr. Mo Barnes, so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're quite welcome.
All right. Bye-bye.
Wow, that was an interesting caller. He's a well-known online editor of a magazine. Started out with Brother Rashad Ritchie out there in Atlanta, well-known in media circles. And so we know over here at 88.3, Sister Khadijah, people are listening to our show all over the world. Also want to give a big shout-out locally to AOC Community Media. That's the Cox 15 channel and LUS channel 3. We on in 5 parishes in South Louisiana. Also streaming live on KIEEFM.com. Go to KIEEFM.com. Hit the listen live button.
And call it. You could call. I mean, you have a question or comment, and we've lost a lot of callers, but callers.
That was an interesting call. It's seldom that we have a famous person. He's famous in other circles.
Yes.
That will call our show.
Caller, you have a question or comment? You're on.
I have a comment, and it's interesting that the previous caller deflected, and it appeared to me to be a lot of victim blaming and deflection, like topics with regard to money going to Ukraine. But we have very specific things that are happening in our community today where we can make changes today. So today and tomorrow is qualifying for all state representative and senator seats across the state. You guys haven't talked about that at all today.
Yes.
So I'll give you an example of an injustice that is happening today. Marcus Bryant is a representative for District 96. District 96 is a vastly gerrymandered district that includes the black section of New Iberia. It is a packed district, so that it is a minority-majority district. So it is a seat that is given to the majority population. Yet, what has Marcus Bryant done with respect to Mr. Cavalier? Has he represented him? Has he done anything with regard to that case? Marcus Bryant is an attorney. Why hasn't he stepped up? And listen, the reason that I say this is that I have worked on some environmental issues with regard to cane burning. I'm trying to work with the government and work on alternatives to cane burning so that our constituency is not choked to death for 4 months out of the year. And Marcus Bryant is on the Ag Commission. And we went to the Ag Commission with a bill to simply investigate if there's not something that we can do. And Marcus Bryant sided with there are only 450 cane farm families in Louisiana. he sided with the lobbyists and killed the bill in his committee. So not only does Marcus Bryant completely disregard the health of his constituency in Iberia Parish, he also completely disregards the civil rights of the people that live here who are oppressed. So again, you go to the Iberia Parish Courthouse, it's $450. Let's get a person to run against Marcus Bryant today. It ends tomorrow. You can reach out to me. I will help anybody that is, that is not homophobic and believes that women should have the access to health care. If you believe in decent things, then I will help them get on the ballot and run against these people, because this is a packed district. You know that these people gerrymandered these districts. If you look at 48 right next to it, it's cracked so that it's all white. So, you're given this opportunity for some representation, and it's wasted.
Well,
elect someone else.
Yes, well, I wanted to say that in order to run against Marcus Bryant in District 96, you have to live within his district, correct?
That's correct.
And that's like the problem right there. That seems like a problem right there. But you say that they have until today or tomorrow. Is someone else running against him?
That you know of?
That you know of?
Currently, no one has qualified for that seat.
Oh.
So not even Marcus has qualified for that seat. Look, Marcus is an attorney. He could have spoken up for Mr. Cavalier. He could be involved in this, and he's not.
Yes.
He is specifically avoiding this.
Yes.
It is absurd because the Iberia Parish, the people are oppressed by the police here.
That's right.
Why isn't he doing something? That is his job.
You're right.
Right.
Oh, well,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Levy.
And let me kind of respond, Sister Khadijah.
Wait,
That those elections that we coming up to elect state representatives has some far-reaching
Very important.
implication, because it can go to the heart of redrawing these redistrict lines. Because Alabama, the Republicans in Alabama refused to draw, even though the Supreme Court ordered them to draw the redistricting line. So that has implications in the state of Louisiana. If we can't get any state representative to draw these lines the correct way and give Louisiana maybe two more elected congressional districts, well, therefore, we don't have any power to make change laws.
Okay.
It's a domino effect, and he's absolutely right. We have to have people who want to fight for those issues.
Yes, I mean, to me, just about anyone. I remember the Kami Mathurin. She was running, and I was 100% in support with her. Caller, you have a question or a comment? You're on. Caller? Okay. Caller, you have a question or comment? You're on. All right.
Okay.
All right. So
okay, I guess the line is kind of tied up. So many people calling at the same time.
Okay.
And again, he makes some interesting point about having someone, and whether or not let's say somebody might be listening, might be conservative, or somebody listening might be progressive or liberal. The whole point is this: if you elect someone to represent you and represent your interests and your concerns in the community, they should be going to Baton Rouge to represent your interests. The problem is the factual information out there. Everybody is mostly influenced by these lobbyists in Baton Rouge, and that's where it needs reform. So that's why we have Louisiana, which is in the shameful position of having a population of black folks in proportion to other states that should have, according to the information and to the Census Bureau, should have more than one I call it a super Negro majority that goes from New Orleans to Baton Rouge with one United States Congressman, Troy Carter. We should have more than one. And a lot of our local representatives supported these people, even in the past. We have people who were state representatives in the past. They supported gerrymandering these districts to the tune of us not having any proper representation of our issues. So we hollering about every Wednesday about police reform, police brutality, people calling in something going on, economic bills so high with the CLECO or LUS or something like that. If we have those problems and we keep spinning our wheels in the mud by electing people who do not respond to our needs, and all they could give you, man, you know, it's so hard. They got a super majority. We can't fight against them. You have to go. You have to go and represent the people who elected you, not the lobbyists who did not elect you. And I'm just giving this rant and trying to analyze it from a logical standpoint. So you say once I elect you, you go in there just to get along with the other side of the coin, the other people who got the majority. If we're not getting nothing in our community, our fair share of representation, there's something that's wrong with this picture.
Yes, and we have had almost 10 callers that automatically either was tied in or hung up, but we also have another Power Pack program that we're going to be discussing, and the discussion is going to be with Reverend Johnson and Reverend Crawford out of New Iberia, Louisiana, and we're not going to accept any calls.
Khadijah, can I give my deepest condolences to the Lewis family, Brother Adley Lewis, one of my brother's former classmates and friends, good friends with the Adley, better known as Booby, a great brother. He lost his life in a senseless killing the other day, shooting in New Iberia. This is an example of the violence, and my sympathy go out to his family, to City Councilman Marlon Lewis for the loss of his uncle, and to Miss Peggy Jirac, family and close family member. No matter who you are, no matter what you believe about any politician or family, this right here, when somebody dies at the hands of a very violent system of guns, especially in New Iberia, you have to take notice of that.
Right, and Marlon himself, he stated that this particular establishment, if you want to call it that, but this particular store sells all kind of things. Right. They let people hang out, and they just, they're not bringing anything to the table when it comes down to our community. And yes, the deepest sympathy to the Jirac family, Jacqueline Jirac, that was her brother, and everything.
No, that's her uncle.
Her uncle. All right. Uncle. Okay. All right. And
every day you're hearing some things in the community, and you know Louisiana's a violent state. Should I pull out the statistics? You getting tired of me pulling out the gun violence statistics in the state of Louisiana? Google it, people. You don't believe about Louisiana, a state this small, has a very serious gun problem. And even going back to the state legislative body, they want to make it a little bit more easier for everybody to acquire a gun and to carry it without any permits, to carry it concealed. They want to make it a little bit easier. So it's a wonder why a state like this has all these problems with gun violence.
And you know what? I wanted to go back to what the caller said. You have until today and tomorrow, to run against Marcus Bryan District 96. You have until today and tomorrow. And that is something people know what district they're in, because you have to be in his district in order to sign up. You have to be in his district. And I think that's really crucial. That is really, really crucial. So you have until tomorrow. You have until tomorrow. You got today and tomorrow to decide if you're going to run against Marcus Bryan. And that is something that we've got to find out. We've got to find out about a candidate, because you don't want to be, well, it is the last minute up there. And if it was a great a great lady that mentioned, and her name was Maya Angelou. May she rest in peace. But she mentioned, when someone show you who they actually are, believe them. When someone show you who they actually are, believe them. So we have a record. You know, we have his record. He has shown us who he are, what he's about, and everything like that.
We also have to engage these people. You know, there's a lot of us tell people to go vote. And a lot of people tell us to register to vote, but we don't tell people when they're approaching us to ask for a vote or to campaign. We don't engage them in what and force them to do what they're supposed to do. If somebody's coming in, let's say, a debatable setting where we could debate an issue, then we could ask them, look, this is what should be done. This is the problem. This is why we need you to do this for us. And we don't have that going on with a lot of the candidates. I'm gonna tell you what this is what you should be worried about. If a candidate gets more influence from a lobbyist, whether it's a criminal justice lobbyist, a lawyer lobbyist, the law enforcement lobbyist, the sugarcane industry, the meat packing industry, the poultry industry, the seafood industry, if they're lobbying the candidate, and you, as a person who elected them, cannot get their attention or ear to make them understand what you're concerned about, well, then you're just spinning the wheels in the mud. So people criticize people for not voting. Voting apathy is created by those same candidates who are telling people it's a shame they don't go vote. When voters get turned off when you don't respond to their needs. This is what I'm trying to say, Khadijah. If you're not responding to my need, why should I go vote? Well, every year, every other year.
Yeah.
I got what? Voter apathy. I don't want to vote. But you listen to the lobbyists and you do everything the lobbyists say because he knows best. You know, if they tell you get a gallon of Roundup, Roundup and spray it all over your yard, the candidate will get the Roundup and spray it all over for the lobbyists.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
It's not so much that
we have voter apathy because we get turned off because people don't want to do the will of the people. That's what I'm saying.
Right. I understand, and you know the lobbyists. They got
money. They got some big suitcase full of money.
Right. They're the one that's able to financially.
Can you prove that?
Financially prove. They're the one that can financially prove different things. The lobbyists themselves, they're gonna put money behind something that they want.
Right.
You know.
So we should be lobbying the people. Well, so a vote is not worth no more than what a lobbyist could offer. A vote is not.
Well, I hate the fact that we should even have paid lobbyists. It should be a lobbyist that's going to do their job, and they're not doing it because they have the monies behind.
Well, I think lobbying should be a screen situation. If it's an essential need for a group or organization to come before anybody in the legislative body, say we have some people who are concerned about autism in the community, a group of people, an organization, and they come and lobby the state representative or state senator to do more for people with autism. That's the kind of lobbyists that I would support. But a lobbyist who say we should put more chemical plants in the black neighborhood, and we had Mr. Robert Taylor on talking about that. Mm-hmm. That's the lobbyists you should be concerned about.
Yes. All right. We are waiting for our guests to call in, and they particularly wanted to speak about what's going on in the community out of New Iberia. It's going to be Reverend Johnson and Reverend Crawford out of New Iberia, Louisiana. And so, Reverend Johnson, you're on.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning, Sister Khadijah.
I apologize, brother. I apologize. We got too much going on this morning again. Like always, a controlled crash.
Yeah, I was listening on as well, and I noticed, all the distractions and things that was happening. But again, good morning to you, Sister Khadijah.
Yes.
Good morning to you, Brother Jay. I have Dr. Calvary Crofton on the other line with me as well.
Good.
Yes. Dr. Crofton, you want to say hi this morning?
Good morning to each of you.
Good
Yes, good morning. Good morning, sir. All right,
Amen.
let's just get with it.
Well, first of all, again, good morning to all of you and all to the listening audience. Those of you that listen to KIEE 88.3, I'm Reverend Wilfred Johnson, Pastor Little Thor, Missionary Baptist Church. I'm also founder and co-founder of the New Chapter Push community organization that operates, amen, within 4 parishes: Iberia, St. Mary's, St. Martin, and Vermilion Parish. Organization was founded in 2007, and the purpose of this organization is to partner for change, to work with groups, organizations, and other operating entities within the state of Louisiana to assist in any and every way that we can. The reason for us coming on this morning, as you already know, Sister Khadijah, is that, I think when I speak, and I'll allow Dr. Crawford to share this as well, is that we're sick and tired of all the killing. We're sick and tired of all the senseless gunfire that's going on, not just in New Iberia, but especially in New Iberia Parish and the surrounding area. And through prayer and supplication, we've been seeking, an answer to this problem. And Dr. Crawford had approached me with some great ideas that he's prayed about and fasted about, and God has given him some things, and I concur. And also to add a few things. But before I say anything, I go on and allow Dr. Crawford to introduce himself, and then to just share a little bit of what is in his heart, because this last murder that occurred at the One Stop, really touched him. He knew the guy well. I knew him also, and it touched us really, really deep. So, Dr. Crawford, if you will, you can go on and share, what you have right now.
Good morning to each
Yes.
of my father.
Yes.
I want to begin by saying, quoting the scripture of John 3:16, that John the apostle wrote. He said, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believed in him should not perish but have everlasting life." That brought me back to the song that was written some years ago by Tom Jones, and I'll repeat some of the lyrics. He said, "What the world needs now is love, sweet love." He said that is the only thing that there's just too little of. So our world today is in a chaotic state, and there's trouble all over the land. We here in America are in a spiritual battle with evil forces in this mean and unfriendly world.
Yes.
One thing that I'm so baffled about is that the minds of so many of our young people are entangled with the troubles of the world, robbing, stealing, killing. The devil is on his job. He's doing just what he's sent to do. We have war in America, war against drugs, war in the streets of America, and our streets are flooded with the blood of so many of our young black male figures, and it troubles my heart. The question is asked by so many of us: how long? They said, how long will this war end?
Yes.
But I can remember talking to the mayor here in New Iberia, Louisiana. We had a meeting some time ago with the clergymen, the city officials, and concerned citizens of this area. And in that meeting, there were very numerous voices expressing their love for our community, the safety of our elders, and the planned strategy to deter crime in our city. There was great suggestions given and said before us, and we even came up with the idea of putting up signs and billboards on street corners and private property. I created a slogan: "No more silence, stop the violence." And after manufacturing these signs and posters across Iberia Parish, crime ceased for a moment. Now it has escalated to an all-time high. Again, the question is asked over and over again: how long will this war end? When this war will end? Now, I personally don't want to throw mud at any of our public forces, for I myself serve in that capacity for 2 or more years. But they are needed in many areas in our state. Now, on the other hand, we do encounter some nasty, dirty, low down, and good for nothing ones. But with this being said, we have to allow the weed to grow with the tear, because in God's own time, He will separate them. Now, I would be remiss if I was not to mention that our law enforcement can't do everything that we're asking them to do when it comes to deterring crime in our hoods, so to speak. But we live in America. We pay taxes. We have armed forces. You know, we have Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Why can't we taxpayers demand that the government help us take back our neighborhoods? Why are they so concerned, these agencies, about sending money overseas to foreign countries to help in war situations? They want to send money to help Ukraine in their fight, but yet still we got to fight right here in America every day. And you know, we need to come up with some kind of idea, enforce curfews, with limitations and for expectations of excuses. We need to stop and set up hotspot points. We need to suspend driver's license for multiple threatening violations. We need to lock down the city, or we need to do some painstaking crime areas, set up more than cameras. You know, set up a perimeter, use our National Guards, and let them come out. We pay taxes. You know, we want our city, we want our country back. We want, look, every time a young black man's blood floods the streets of America, it pierces my heart.
Yes, and Reverend Crawford, I understand what you're saying, what we all are saying. Somehow is to stop the violence. But what I don't, and you also are calling on our government and everything. Our government or our elected officials are doing just what they want to do, and that's just about nothing. I mean, when you look at the high crime rate amongst our young black males and everything, they don't have anything to do. They closed down the pool, gave some kind of little idiotic flat splash something. They go and they build this big time $1 million. Jay, what is that called down in New Iberia? What? What? An RV park. I mean, and an RV park mean that you're going over there with a whole RV, which is in itself costs more than some of our homes that we paid for. So just help me understand, what is it that we can do to try to get the message out, which is $1 million question. But it's like they don't have nothing to offer these youngsters. And to me, you know, that's a big problem. At one time we had little jobs that they could have go on that the school had provided, and really it gave them some monies, you know, not nothing large or anything, but it kept them busy. So how can we, like, you know, go one-on-one with our young men and women because it's within them. You know, they got to stop the killing among their brothers and their sisters. They're the one that has to stop spreading blood all over the road, the homes, and everything like that. How do we get them?
Okay. You mind if I answer some of that, Dr. Kaufman?
Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, simply because one of the things we have to understand, and this is probably going to be in opposition to a lot of what people are thinking, but in reality, the war that we are engaged in is not a war that is physical. It's spiritual in nature.
Okay.
And one thing we have to understand, in order for us to really be able to take position, is that we have to think outside of the box. We have to take a spiritual approach toward this. Now, some may say, okay, well, man, that ain't going to change nothing. But let me just say this. because 2 Chronicles 7:14 is the scripture that most people quote, and I think they quote it out of context. When we look at the context of this particular passage, which says that if my people which are called by my name would humble themselves, pray, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, he says, then will I hear from heaven, forgive their sin and heal their land. You see, what was taking place here, Solomon had just dedicated the temple unto God, and God approached Solomon to let him know that the sins of Israel, you know what I'm saying, is flooding the atmosphere. And God said that he's going to send a drought. He was going to send the locusts to eat up the crop. But he said if the people would turn away, if they would change their mindset. So it starts with us, those of us that say that we are people of God, that we were called. We got to do what Dr. Crofton said. We got to show love. Love meaning, same thing that Jesus told the disciples. He said, a new commandment I should give to you, that you show love one to another. He said, by doing that, then the world will know that you are my disciples. So it starts with us. We got to stop being so divided. We got to start coming together, and we got to express love. Listen, now some may disagree. We got to love the murderers and the murder. We got to love everybody. We got to let the young people know that there is a different way. We go to the jails, we go to the prisons, and man, we echo this often, over and over again. We visit with the murderers, those that are locked up in our parish jail right now on murder charges. We visit with them. We meet with them on Tuesdays, and we see their faces now. We hear their voices. They have been crying. Now, I'm not justifying what they've done. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is we got to take an approach, which is before they get incarcerated, and try to make a difference before. So we got to love upon them now. And it's going to take the whole of the community. And I mean that literally. It's going to take everybody to come together. And those of us that are Christians, those of us that are believers, whether it be Allah, Buddha, Jehovah, whatever it may be, we got to come together and make it about one thing, and that is love. And until we do that, our land is going to continue to be flooded with sin, and God won't even heal it until we humble ourselves. And I love the word humble here, because it tells us that the word humble means that we're not thinking of ourselves. To humble ourselves means to lower our own self for the cause of others. That's what it's about. So we need the people of God to start coming together and express this showing of love to our community. It starts there. Parents, grandparents, we got to take back our homes. The ruin of a nation begins in the home of a people. That's an African proverb. And it says that the result of what we see going on in the nation is the lack of what's taking place in the home. There is no government in the home. There is no family structure in the home. There is no discipline in the home. It's just whatever. And then we want to go out after somebody has been murdered and release balloons. You know, I mean, we got to stop. We got to really put our feet down. So, yeah, I mean, I do believe that's part of the answer, and that's a starting point.
Reverend Johnson, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
And an observation. Granted that location had, I seen in the news report, had an array of video cameras.
Come on.
And people sometimes get lulled into the false sense of security that cameras will stop an incident. And it goes to the point of what you're saying. It's more, and even the lawyering at that location of that particular business, the acceptance of that kind of lawyering, acceptance of that kind of traffic.
Yes.
In combination with the false sense of security that video camera is going to stop something. It's a culture thing. People going to do what they're going to do. They depend on law enforcement and rolling in with the troops to what war you can't. It's not a particular war against a particular group of people. It's individuals making bad choices.
That's
and
right.
we got to start with the culture of acceptance of what people accept in their families and their communities as a natural thing. You've seen it in the award shows on BET and the Essence, the wilding out of our people. We got to find a way to let them know that's a bad choice to live that way, that cursing each other, calling your kids by the B words, and come on I see that every day. It's a culture thing, and where that's where people like yourself come in to get to the families and say, look, we got to stop catching when they're young. And that's the problem. Right. It took generations to get like that. It's going to take generations to fix the problem if it want to be fixed. That's all I got to say.
No, that you said a mouthful, because that is so correct. You know, we can find in history, especially in biblical history, you know, when generations were lost, you know what I'm saying, because of cultural conception and how people chose to live and to deal with it and allow it to happen. You know, we got to take back, you know what I'm saying, our homes. We got to take back our communities. We got to take back our states. We got to be serious about this. For instance, that one stop, that bad boy needs to be shut down.
Right.
Because they sell paraphernalia. I mean, they do all kind of stuff up in there. They sell drugs out of there, man. I ain't scared to say it. Yes. And it needs to stop. Now, they have a police sit right there by where that little store used to be, across from there, every now and then. But they go to right behind the building. They'll stand up there. You know, but we got to stop the loitering. And if they don't stop it, if they can't enforce it themselves, then we need to get out there as a community and demand that it be closed and demand that it be shut down, because too much is happening right there. And we're just sitting back allowing it to happen. You know, I mean, and again, and lastly but not least, let me say this, and I'm going to turn it back over to you, Dr. Crofton. Khadidra, you said something. You know, there is really nothing to put before these youngsters other than what they're doing, because they're living their life in what they consider to be the norm. This is how things are for them. But we got to let them know that there is a different way. But at the same time, we got to have something to substitute, you know, what they're doing now. We got to come up with a plan, a strategic plan, and it has to be done as a community, with the community as a whole.
Yes, and I really concur with that. And I would also like to stress that it's a lot of young people that are engaging in this destruction. I know for myself personally, when in my young age, you know, I didn't even know that there was a God, and when I actually found out that there was a God, it wasn't until I was in my early 40s. However, when you reach them right where they're at, like for me, I couldn't understand why I had to go to the field and pick pepper. Why I had to go in that hot burning sun and pick pepper. And there was no excuses. Your mother said you had to go, and regardless, coming from a disruptive family environment, you know you had to be in that field. And then when you did get paid, that money didn't go to you like it should have. It went to your mother. So I'm just trying to figure out. I know we have to keep God, Allah, Buddha, Jehovah. We have to keep them in the forefront of what we're doing, but we know how to do that. It's those youngsters that don't know, you know.
That's deep. That's real.
You know, I'm broke. The only way I could get some money is by selling. I mean, we have a big time $1 million at the port of Iberia, you know, who promised to hire people in the community and everything. A guy called me. He said he went to try to apply, you know, and he never heard anything from him. So it's so much just window dressing at the time when we need to be showing how to get dressed.
Well, a new chapter push has sealed that void. Okay, we have been having job fair, hiring fairs. Yes. For the last few months. We've sent almost 700 to 800 young men to work. Whether they stayed there or not, we don't know. We have made connections with the Port of Iberia. We do have job available now. We've been stressing for individuals to call us. And if you're having a problem with an employer where they are discriminating against you for whatever reason, or if you think they are, well, then you can contact us, and we'll definitely look into the issue to make sure that you're getting a fair take upon seeking employment. So there is a lot of things that we're doing, and Dr. Crofton is very instrumental in that as well. He operates as our Dean of Education and also our program director for the General Chamber of Commerce. So he works side by side with me, Sis Khadijah and Sis Jay, along with James Broussard, in us trying to make sure that our young brothers as well as our sisters get a fair shake in seeking employment. So we speak with these employers. We demand that they give these people a chance, but we also ask that those that are seeking, to do better, that they enroll within our mentoring program, so we can help you and teach you how to communicate better, how to be job ready. So we got a lot of things that we are offering, but not everybody's taking advantage of it. But that's okay. We're not going to stop. Amen. Because we know we're making a difference. But Dr. Crofton, the plan that you had came up with about adopting kids or whatever like that, I mean, can you touch base upon it just a little bit, brother, if you don't mind?
Yes, sir. I, being a seminarian, a trained, called man of God, I love very so much to preach the gospel. But the ministry that God is calling us to now is not in the confines of the walls of what we call the church. It's time for us to evangelize our city. I want to make a plea to every young, positive black male role figure to adopt at least 2 people. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the area where you live, but even in the city where you're at. I live in a little community called Moberham. I don't mind adopting a child out of Jeanerette and one out of Youngville, so to speak, and make sure that I plant a seed in that child's life. And how do I do that? I check on that child in school. I make sure that child is supplied with all their needs. Instead of me making a sacrifice, which don't mind making a sacrifice, buying a $100 pair of tennis shoes, sow a seed in that child's life. Plant a seed, water it by prayer, and watch God give the increase. I need over 100 black male figures to adopt at least 2 children somewhere in your neighborhood or in this city, and get involved in that child's life and watch how the change is going to take place. How we going to deter a lot of this crime that's going on. How we going to build strong young black men that's looking to educate themselves in the school of learning, which is going into the Pillow Institute. They're building more Pillow Institutes than learning institutions. And it's a shame. It's a slave market. And when you look at the market, every young black male figure from 18 to 25, it pierces my heart to see them locked up. I'm talking about with serious charge, murder, armed robbery, rape, home invasion, this, that, and the other. If a drastic change does not take place within the next 3 to 10 years, my beautiful daughter, who is 25 years old, getting ready to finish school from Southern University in the nursing program, when she get ready to get married, if she bring a Laotian, a Mexican, a white boy home, what am I going to say? It's not a racial thing, but we're losing our culture. The reproductive system for a black man is going to be very slim in the next 15, 20 years.
It already is.
So if my daughter chooses, I know I want her to marry. I want her to have children. I want grandchildren. But if she bring a white boy home, what am I going to say? All our young brothers are killing each other. It's time to put down the guns and pick up the Bible. It does not necessarily mean the word of God. You can turn the whole world through a book. We need to start reading and educating on ourselves, on our ancestors who built this country. In the back of a dollar bill, say, "In God we trust." But where is God in all of this? I'm so sick of balloon release. It's time to release Jesus in our homes, in our communities, in our street, in the store, wherever we are. It's time to tell somebody that Christ died for the sins of the world, and he gave us life that we might live and make a difference in life. Not so much for ourselves, but in somebody else's life. God did not give us life to live, he gave us life to make a difference. God don't love us because of the pigmentation of our skin. He loves us because we are sinners, and he's trying to show us the way back to the cross. Yeah, it's good to get on bending knees because many battles have been won on bending knees. But the cry is out in the streets, and we need to win our community back. My child cannot come in this house with a hoodie on his head, with his hand in his pocket, and I ask him what's in his pocket. He tell me, don't worry. Or he can tell me, I'm going to my room and close the door. My room. That's not his room. That's my room. That's my house. I'm the ruler.
Yes.
We need to take back our home. Look, charity begins at home.
Yes.
And a mother don't have no business out there dropping like it's hot with her 18-year-old daughter. A father don't be sitting to no table under a shade tree with a 5-gallon bucket turned over, playing dominoes and drinking with his son. No.
And
I love my children, but I let them be children.
Okay.
But they know I'm the dad. Yeah. I'm the ruler.
Yes, indeed. And I wish they could really hear and feel this. Now, how do we go with adopting a kid? All right. So
can I say something to that real quick? Real quick, if you don't mind. I'll stop right there for a moment because we want to take this opportunity to invite anybody that's listening that's wanting to be a mentor, because our approach have already begun. It's an old one that we are bringing life back to. There is a program that has been in the schools here in Iberia Parish called the Buddies Program, and it's headed by Mr. Stanley Small, who used to be over HUD. He's still the spearheader for this initiative. Matter of fact, on August the 17th at 6 p.m., we will be gathering with the Buddy Program and any potential mentor or anybody that wants to be a mentor within the schools of Iberia Parish. We've gotten permission to get in every school here in the parish. I'm talking about Generette, Delcombe, Laurelville, New Iberia, every elementary school, every middle school, every high school. We have been given permission by Mr. Hewland and the Iberia School Board to provide mentoring within the schools. And how this is going to work, and I'll give you everything else here shortly, how this is going to work is that we're going to be working with the counselors. There's counselors in every school that know the troubled kids, those that need the extra help, and then we're going to do that. And from that, we're going to try to help outside of the school and use what Dr. Crofton is saying, that we can implement or that we can adopt a couple of kids from within whatever community it is and to mentor them outside of the school to help, to show the parents, and not only that, to meet the parents and to engage with the parents, to help them even in their parenting for their child. So this is going to take place August the 17th. It's going to be at Word of Hope on Apmadal. That's 701 Apmadal Drive. That's Word of Hope, the old Social Security building. Pastor Zach Mitchell is the pastor there, and this is being implemented by the Buddies Program along with the Iberia Christian Ministerial Federation. So we're looking for men and women to be there. So Khadijah, if you're not doing it, we would love to have you and Brother Jay to come film some of this stuff. Put it out on AOC. Let the people know that this is a serious call, a clarion call, that we're crying out along with Dr. Crofton on making sure that we help our kids through this school year and that they get the proper guidance and assistance that they need in school and out of school. So again, that's August the 17th at 6 p.m. That's 701 Apmadal Drive, East Apmadal Drive. That's at Word of Hope World Outreach Center. Pastor Zach Mitchell, that's the old Social Security building. Meet us there. Meet us there. We're looking forward to it.
Yes, indeed. And I don't have that question anymore. And so, and Reverend Crofton, would you and Reverend Johnson get ready to do y'all closing remark? Reverend Crofton.
Yes, I just spotlight the one-stop store. I don't have a problem with people going in there and buying something, but they got a sign on the outside, no loitering. That's what the problem is. That's why all the commotion is happening right out on that corner. if that guy would allow all 50 or 60 of them people to stand in this store for hours, I don't have a problem with that. But when you come outside that store, you need to leave the premises. That needs to be enforced if they're going to leave that store open. But I'm more for setting it down. We need a proper. I don't know if protest would be the thing that we need to do, but we need a petition signed by concerned citizens to shut that store down. They're selling liquor out the front door, dope out the back door, and they're killing our children right there on the corner.
Well, the council, whatever day that the council is going to be having their meeting, find out the day that they have open discussion that the public can go and say what they want to say. I think that was going to be a really good outlet to have people attend the council meeting. Y'all can call us, let us know when the council meeting is, and you want to speak on that. You want to
invite
speak
the
on
media,
that.
let the
Yes.
mainstream media know that this is a problem.
Because they're not gonna hear it. I mean, you're talking about their monies. They're not gonna adhere to it. So you got to go ahead and whip them another way. Go to the council. Let it be known on record that I'm against you. While that day to go to the council, have a petition. You just be ready for people that's going to speak on their behalf. Put the word out. Let us know.
I'm gonna say that if it was in another neighborhood, say like cross the bayou in certain section, it would not be going down like that.
You don't have to say no more. You could, yes. Reverend Johnson.
Yes, I concur that we need to make the next council meeting. Matter of fact, I will be getting with Marlo and bringing it to his attention. He is District 2 council person. So we definitely want to make sure that we bring it to his attention and what our approach is. So I concur with Dr. Crawford. But I want to just shoot this out there. If there's any young man that is listening, any young woman, or there's any parents that, just don't know what's going on or what they can do to help their child to get out of the rut that they're in, we want you to know that we love you. We care and we are concerned. When I say we, I'm talking about a New Chapter Push and all of those organizations that we affiliate with, that we partner with, to make sure that our community get the best that they can get. And this is one thing that we're doing now. We're making a clarion call. We're calling everybody to the table. We're calling pastors, ministers. We're calling everyone to the table. August the 17th, this is where it's going to start. And, it's not a Christian thing. I am a Christian, but you can be a Muslim. You can be a Jehovah's Witness. You can be whatever. It's about the kingdom now. It's not about who we are. To humble ourselves means to get out of who we are. Drop down. Get off your high horse. Let's come together. Let's make a difference in our community.
Okay, Reverend Johnson and Reverend Crofton. You have a couple of people want to make a comment. Go ahead. Y'all on. You're on.
Yes, listen, I'm calling concerning the one stop at the corner of Hopkins and Lombard.
Yes.
There's a real simple way to shut this place down. You go to the city and you have the city pull the occupational license. You understand? You take that occupational license, they got to shut it down, all right? This is a menace to our community and our area. All right, that's happening. Let me tell you something. Put some emphasis on law enforcement. We don't have no law enforcement up there. They're selling drugs out on the street up there. They got weapons. They're using the, matter of fact, using weapons in front of people, branches, weapons on everybody, showing their little weapons off. They're smoking drugs on the property, everything. All right, so law enforcement, they have no law enforced by the police, but we don't see them do it. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. They pass by and they're looking at them selling drugs. They got a location right behind the store where they're starting to gather up again and selling drugs.
That's right.
I mean, seriously, let's point at the police, all right? Let's make sure that they do their jobs. You understand? If they stop the lottery and arrest people and keep them moving, you understand? Then we wouldn't have that problem, all right? So shut it down. Tell us, look, put this occupational license. That's that.
All right.
That's how you shut a place down.
All right. Thank you so much, caller. Wait, caller, you're on. You have a quick question or comment. You got 30 seconds. You're on.
Good morning, Sister Khadijah and Brother J.
Yes, go ahead.
How you doing, Pastor Johnson? How y'all doing? This is Nathan Walker.
Yes, sir.
Sons of King?
Sons of King. Sons of King.
Yes, sir.
Oh, hey, Nathan.
We just wanted to let y'all know that some of our guys right now already in the mentor program, especially in the judge, the court system with some of the youth and stuff like that. And we hoping to be participate in the mentor program with y'all. So
okay. That's
Good, brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We'll see you August the 17th, man.
Okay. Thank you
Yeah,
so,
thank
so
you.
much,
'Cause
Mr.
our
Nathan.
time is running down on this
And we're
segment.
so sorry we can't accept any more callers. They have made their closing, and just give us back.
Well, we're gonna bring them
August-
back
okay.
for the full much earlier.
Okay, August the 17th, the mentor.
August 17th, 6 p.m., Word of Hope, Outreach Center, 701 East Amador Drive, the old Social Security building.
Okay, well you
We
have
have a
it there.
job fair coming up on the 14th at probation and parole on Adrian Street. We're going to be giving out backpacks, and we're going to also be taking applications for PMI. So anyone that wants to go offshore, come and see us August the 14th, Adrian Street, probation and parole. We'll be giving out book sacks and taking applications and hiring on the spot for PMI offshore out of Fushon.
Okay.
That's right. Thank you for sharing that, dog.
Thank y'all so very much. And
Thank y'all, brother.
as you can tell, we had an array of callers.
We're sorry, man. We always look like we're hurrying you up, but we're gonna bring you for 2 hours, man. You need 2 hours. You and the pastor was laying it down today.
Don't forget, yes.
Y'all done fired up New Iberia and Lafayette and surrounding areas. You know that,
yes.
Bless y'all, man. Thank y'all for your time.
Have a great day.
Don't forget that today and tomorrow is the last day. If anybody going to be running against Marcus